The future, the next 10 years in the guitar business is upon us. Let's talk about what's going to be happening. Changes are afoot. Hey, it's me, Baxter.
And Jonathan.
At Casino Guitars. Thanks for joining us once again. We're talking about all the changes that have happened recently, from guitar manufacturers all going direct, this thing called the internet, all the shops that are changing, disappearing, morphing. We want to kind of get into what the future of the guitar world will look like.
I like to think in 10 years we'll be able to shrink ourselves small enough to go into the quantum realm so we can come back and tell ourselves if we were right or not.
That would be so cool. Does quantum computing do this?
No. This is from, I watched Avengers again the other day, where they get really small.
Oh, yeah. That is really funny. I don't really understand the physics behind that, and I don't really care.
Sure, it's great.
Okay, so
Smart Hulk.
So the first thing I just said as a joke sort of is happening. Like, most manufacturers are going direct.
Yes.
There's one stalwart left, PRS, but that will probably change too. Who knows? It's probably changed by the time this video's out, if you're watching. But so that's a thing. Like, so all these manufacturers were built on their dealer network at first.
Oh, yeah.
That's how it was. They had these robust, awesome partnerships and relationships with their dealers. They're sort of fracturing and splitting that because, like, well, the things have changed. Everyone else is doing it. Little Jimmy's jumping off the bridge over there. We got to jump off too. We're doing it too.
Jump off too.
It's just the nature of things. People want to do it, so we're going to do it. It's like when parents ask me about kids, like, why do our kids do drugs? Because I'm like, well, because they're great.
Because
and everyone else is doing them.
So holding my tongue on a tangent right now. But
I'll do it. Anyway, but there's a payoff in that as well. But no, anyway, so that's happening.
I mean, it's funny, right? Because when those companies became companies, that was the only way to get your stuff distributed because there was no internet. So.
And it wasn't just there was no internet. There were mail order catalogs. That was all a thing with Sears and Roebuck. That was out there.
That's true.
And don't get me wrong, the Sweetwater and the Musician's Friend catalogs were like the Bible to me. I loved.
Oh, dude.
Better. I hated the website when it first came.
I also never bought anything from them though. The catalogs. I would look, but then I would go to a store where I could find the stuff.
That's usually what I
they had
too. But I think things have changed a little bit there. So
changed.
So that's making the idea of entry for any new shops really difficult because you're not only competing with other shops, you're competing with your manufacturer that you're a partner with. It becomes a complicated, convoluted mess.
Yes.
The other point, some of the great shops that we've known for decades are going away.
Yes.
There's a lot of these great like independent shops that have been like stalwarts. They're getting sold and bought by Music and Arts, which is a sub company of Guitar Center. And then once they buy you, it's not a guitar shop anymore.
No.
It's
a band and orchestra / lesson shop.
I call it Kazoo Factory.
Kazoo Factory, that's the same.
No, they're nice. They're clean little places. They all look the same. It's like going to a Quiznos. And like you can get, it's fine, but there's no high-end guitars there anymore.
No.
Like if you're
like a 100 series Taylor.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky.
It's big bears at the most.
Yeah.
Because there within the Taylor world, there's like those programs of just like, Tecate below, like just Academy Series is a thing.
This Music and Arts, they are geared towards just servicing students, right? Like that's about it. So
no, and it's tough, and the manufacturers are watching this and they're terrified because they see that it's called the graying of the market as these great old shops go away. If like places like Wildwood ever disappeared, I would probably just like end it all and just jump into.
Well,
I jump into a vat of like hot oil.
It's sort of like how I get sad thinking about all these bands that I love are like in their sort of twilight years. A lot of them that started rock and roll, from the 50s and 60s and 70s.
The Black Crowes.
Like the Black.
God rest their soul.
Darn youth. They are on the final Aerosmith tour.
I have so much fun with you.
I know. But it's the same, right? In the guitar shops, a lot of these people who these huge shops that we all know about, they're the same way they're aging out a little bit.
No, but hopefully they'll continue. Like I have
some of them will transition.
All these, and some have gone away. There's some big ones in the Southeast that Music and Arts gobbling up. But I get it. I get why you'd sell to Music and Arts. It's a big payday. You've worked your whole life. It's time to take it and go off to pasture and enjoy your life.
Well, that's why it's so cool, the ones that feel like, not if you sold your store to Music and Arts that you don't care about the community, but there are some places where I think they're like, okay, this is a community thing. We want to keep this going.
Well, and these shops often try to find someone to take over, but like the kids don't.
That's right.
The staff can't do it or don't want to or doesn't have the ability.
Right.
And sometimes your staff, like even if your staff is amazing, I've seen this at other shops, like they don't have exactly what had made that shop.
Yes.
When they do try to take it over, and it's just something changes.
Yes.
And it's very palpable, and it's hard, so that they go away. So that's what the industries are watching. That the amount of new releases coming out makes your head spin. Like, can you keep up?
No.
You didn't like when the Steve Lacy guitar dropped by Fender.
Wow, I can't wait to.
Who is Steve Lacy? Like,
That's still my question.
he's this cool TikTok guy that does his whatever. It's kind of fun circuit. It's cool. Pink. He's a TikToker. It's the only way you consume music now, right?
It's fine.
No, but you know he's really good. He's really talented. But that's cool. But there's a new player series. There's a new thing.
I was gonna say it's not even that as an artist. It's like that. There's 97 varieties of normal strats.
I mean,
from Squire to
our job,
American Ultra Lux or whatever we do.
And I don't mind knowing them all. It's sort of funny that I know really about this one niche thing super well.
It used to be a lot easier to know them all.
You want a standard or you want a Mexi?
Right.
You know, like that was kind
American Standard or Standard. That was it, you know? Or a Squire if you're really. Yeah.
I see Guitar Center changing dramatically.
Oof.
Now, you were predicting they don't exist.
I think it's really possible that they don't exist in 10 years.
Okay. I get that because they're fast approaching another round of bankruptcy, it looks like. But I think they'll exist.
Even on that, man, it's when you see the stores that are empty, and maybe I'm probably jaded by like the shit posting group, but I mean, you know, I just constantly I see posts where dudes are like, "Hey, we all walked out because, you know, we got no raise. They changed it where we can't even make our 3% commission." I mean, like, you know, like when you're not paying employees, you have no employees.
Here's my hope for Guitar Center.
Okay,
that they stop opening new stores.
Yep.
They close all their sort of like D and C and almost B level shops.
Yeah.
And they go to like their flagships. Then they push hard on their online and have a few. You know, I'd love if they still had a Raleigh shop, but I get it if they can't afford that and have a Charlotte and there's only North Carolina location.
Just say they
like 50 locations, one a state.
I was about to say 50 locations is probably the right number. There are states they could probably realistically have two,
like Rhode Island,
right? Like Rhode Island.
Yeah.
It'd be across the parking lot. The staff would compete.
Like the Starbucks in New York City, they would cross this.
Yeah,
Ours is better than yours. Screw you.
They have like intramural sports every year.
I see Sweetwater growing and sort of like gobbling up a little bit more.
When you say growing, do you think that growth includes more brick and mortar locations?
I think it includes not that, but more like warehousing.
Cool.
And more online presence. And they'll maybe have the Sweetwater Gear Days will become more of a thing. But I really see the manufacturers pushing hard to bring things in-house for themselves. But I feel like that's going to fail.
Okay.
Because they're going to try it hard. So this is what I think. All this is going to start happening. There will be guitar brand shops. I think we have a Gibson Garage, the Fender shop in Japan coming out. We might have a few of those in more key markets.
But Apple Store, you know.
But unfortunately, these brands, it takes a lot more to sell a guitar and to work with customers, and they're aware sometimes. And PRS is going to have a tough time with it because their guitars look so unique.
Yes.
Like they have to photograph, know everything, but it's tricky because they would be the best suited for it in some ways, but it'd be the hardest for them just because of the unique nature of each one of their guitars.
They can't just throw up a telly and be like, oh, which order a telly.
You want this blue guitar? Unless you're like all CE, black CEs, you know. Oh, no. Boom.
It'd be crazy if PRS was like, hey, we're not doing any figured tops anymore. Everything's solid colors.
So I think in the next 10 years, though, with all these changes coming, you're going to see a big sort of dynamic shift in the guitar industry. There's going to be a lot of shops closing. All the smaller shops are going to like get hurt bad. The bigger ones will survive. Not Guitar Center big, but I mean like the good indies will survive this. The strong will survive. Only the strong.
It's like Highlander.
It's up. Isn't that
Except
from
there
like?
can be more than one.
I think it's from like 300 as well.
Probably.
It's they'll survive. The weak ones are going to get like sort of cut out. It's going to be harder to enter into the game unless you're doing super boutique and you're just having a lessons program. That's going to be tougher to have as well because online lessons, School of Rock franchises, trying to gobbledygook all that.
That's what I think that is what's happened. Like, it's hard to just open a shop and have a teaching program where it's just teachers and people come in and they just learn. People want bells and whistles, right? They want the kids to put on like a Kiss tribute where they dress in the makeup and all wear platforms. And
I want that too, though.
I mean, I do, but
it's off to that.
I'm just saying.
No, but the old sort of way, it has changed a bit, which I don't think is a good thing necessarily because we created some great guitar players through that. And like learn by, I was so proud of Sean who was like jamming the Marcus King the other day. I was watching him when we were doing a meeting, and he was picking all the ear, like he's playing by ear again.
Yeah,
which is good. A lot of kids are not doing that.
No.
But no, there's going to be. But then what's going to happen at the end of this is I think there will be a boom in a neo renaissance of retail. I think we have to survive this next decade of trying times, because all these CEOs and these that are running these major manufacturing companies and some of the major resellers, they're trying to figure out what the heck's going to happen.
Right.
So we all are. That we don't know. But I think there's going to be some disasters that will happen from all the direct consumer type things. They're not doing as well as they were hoping, any of them so far, on that market. But they're eating up. Starts off as 2%, maybe works up to 5, maybe to 7 or 8.
Right.
Eventually, 10 and 12%. Then they're happy. But then they're gonna defeat their customer base too.
Seems like
because they cannot handle the service. I was looking at some of the conditions on returns with restocking fees, and they take 30-day returns in a lot of these places. We get in the newest guy that dropped that. It's a whole other video. Stay tuned. The direct to consumer, but
that would end the days of like you get this guitar, you try it out, you return it, and it costs you nothing. That might be going away.
That's going away soon. Just prepare yourselves for that. If you want the convenience of direct to manufacturer, which again, I received some great, very expensive guitars that we are doing full setups on that are not play ready from our favorite manufacturers in the country.
Yes.
And they're not bad guitars. They're just not ready to go.
Right.
So I think that's my predictions.
I think those are pretty good predictions.
I like it.
I mean, it could be that the reptilians take over.
It could be.
And so I don't know if they'll allow us to play guitars while they farm us for food, but they might. They might want us to be happy because, like, I have a xylophone in my chicken coop. So they might be like, hey, everyone gets a custom shop.
We need therapy.
Happiest how many years of your life to
we hope it all. We think it's going to go. I'm not worried about casinos much. We have so much fun doing it. We were having a big meeting here before the cameras were rolling, and just talking about how much we love each other and how much fun this is to be in music. We love it. We're going to succeed. We're going to prevail. All the other shops that we know and love and talk about, we know they're going to be fine. Just like support your local shops. Just don't buy direct if you don't need to for some reason. Like if you can find a shop you like, even if it's not local, find a shop you like on the internet. Call them up. Develop a relationship. That is the bread and butter of this guitar business or communities that's been developed, and we'll have more community music happening as these shops come back after the manufacturers destroy them all for a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
It's just a cycle. It's like Moses, it's like Noah and the Great Flood. I was thinking Moses and the waves. Now he saved stuff. Well, he killed the Egyptians. But anyway, that's another story.
Fancy.
Great. Oh,
crashing down.
I had that in my queue to watch the one with Christian Bale and whatever. I can't remember who else is in that. I'm gonna watch that again.
Okay.
Because I love the Charlton Heston one. That's great. 10 Commandments.
It's pretty great. Yeah, the whole pretty good.
I'm out. Peace be with you.
We'll see you next time.
Like and subscribe us.
Hit the old bell.